Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I want to welcome you to our Tuesday Empowerment Call. I'm coming to you live from the beautiful Red Rock, Sedona, Arizona. And so today we actually have a very special call because we have a true legend from our space that I'm going to be talking to, and we're going to be interviewing her and talking to her. And so such a privilege and honor for her to be a part of our platform. And so I want to welcome everybody to joining us on this and tuning in for this Tuesday here in I'm here in sunny Arizona. And so before I bring on my guest, I like to, tee up a little bit, just, share a little bit about her background and who we have on the call here this afternoon. And so this lady, she's actually has been in the industry for 42 years. And this year, it's going to be her 42 years. And not only the number of years that she's been involved in this industry, more importantly, she was with the company and has achieved the rank to be number one worldwide in a household, truly a household company. I remember when I first got in, and she would tell her story of what that company is. I remember when I first got into this industry, those are the books and the legends, the story I'll be reading. And so she's done remarkable in her journey. And so today's Tuesday Empowerment Talk, the topic is Journey to the Top. And so I couldn't be more honored and for all of us to have her on the call here with us to learn about her journey, her to hear her story, her journey, and her triumph, and how she got to the top of a company that's worldwide. I mean, it's one thing of spent a lot of years in this industry. It's another of spending, she has spent 27 years of her life with that company and have achieved, it's a multi-billion-dollar company and has achieved number one rank, number one worldwide in that company. So without further ado, she's joining us all the way from Aspen, Colorado. Let's welcome our special guest, Christine Petersen. Hi, Christine.
Hi, it's such an honor
Welcome.
to be here.
Oh, honors ours. I mean, what an incredible journey. And you and I had a little chance to talk a little bit before the call, and I'm humbled and honored for someone like yourself that have had so much success in your career and choose to be a part of three. And so maybe, we could start off before we start, Christine, maybe you could share with the audience a little bit about your background, because I was totally impressed when you and I had talked before the call. Share with the audience about your background and how you got into this industry.
Oh, thank you. Well, I never imagined that I would be in this type of industry because I really didn't even understand it. But my background, I was a teacher. I taught school for 17 years. I grew up in California. I'm a fifth generation Californian. And I went to school. I did everything I was supposed to do. And then I started teaching. I taught school in Los Angeles for 2 years. Then I went and taught school in Japan for 3 years. And I worked for the Department of Defense, being a teacher on a base over there, and loved it and used to travel.
What
And I
part of
really,
Japan? What part of Japan were you in?
yeah, I was just outside of Tokyo. It's called Yokota Air Base. It was during the Vietnam War, and the fighter pilots were coming in and out. And of course, I found this good-looking fighter pilot, had a motorcycle, and he was flying these jets, and had a Corvette, and it was just like something you saw in the movies.
That's right.
But so I always say my daughter was made in Japan. But
Uh-huh.
but it was an exciting career. And then I came back to America. And my husband at that time, he became a pilot for the airlines, and I was a teacher. And as the years went on, I went on and on and on. One day I woke up. I said, I'm just tired of being poor. I just could never get ahead. When you're a teacher, I mean, it's a great profession. I mean, it is really, it's great, but you never really get paid for what you're worth. And so
Like most
I was
jobs,
just,
right?
yeah. So I just was contemplating, what am I going to do? And I was 39 years old, almost 40 years old.
Hmm.
And I was going like, what can I do? Well, my mother said, go back and get your master's. And I said, doesn't make sense.
That's
Why would
what
I
my
spend
mom
that
said to
money on?
me.
Yeah, but my mother had said, no, you must be educated. You must get your degrees and you must do this and that. And someone, I had a friend reach out to me and she said, well, she said, I have this business opportunity I want you to hear about. And I knew that she was in that Mary Kay thing, but I wasn't too sure what that was all about. But I went just to help her out, maybe like some of you on this call today. I went to help her out, be a good friend. And I drove up and there was this pink Cadillac sitting outside. And I said, oh, I would never drive a pink car, but it's good for them, but not for me. But there's some real lessons that I want to point out this evening. That evening I went in and I saw there were 5 ladies there. And there was a lady and she was driving the pink Cadillac. She was a Berkeley graduate. That intrigued me that a Berkeley graduate would be doing this business. And so immediately they thought I'd be great at this. And they showed me what the women were making. And I was like, I looked at it and I thought, wow, I can't even believe what they're making. And I said, well, maybe I could drive that pink car after all. My pride was never greater than my pocketbooks. But you know what? That evening, I didn't say, oh, yes. I just said, no, I think I'll just stick to teaching. Now, I wasn't even thinking that at all. I just needed some space. I needed to go home, but they were smart enough to send literature home. And every night for 3 nights, I would look at what they were making and what they were doing. And but nobody ever called me back. Nobody followed up.
So
Now,
follow up is key.
if they had called me the next day or the day after, I wasn't too sure if I could do this because I'd been in school my whole life. I went to school, I went to the universities, I taught school. I'd never sold anything except Girl Scout cookies. And then suddenly I was going to go into this world. I thought, I don't know. In California, we worked hard to look natural. I wasn't too sure if I'd be wearing much makeup. And, but I wanted it. I really wanted more. It was down in me, but I wasn't too sure. But they planted the seed. Nobody called back. But 3 months later, my friend, it was the end of May and I went like, oh my, I was teaching kindergarten at that time and their span of attention is about 2 minutes. And so I thought, you know what was that Mary Kay thing? Maybe they would take me.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that interesting? Talk about being insecure. You don't know what people are thinking.
They're like, welcome home.
Yes. And so I went home and I picked up the phone and I called my friend Billy. I said, Billy, what does it take to be in Mary Kay? And she told me, and I said, can I come up and sign up right now? I've made that decision. And she said, well, yes. Now, get this. I was her first and only recruit. Wow. I drove up to her house. I lived in a little tiny town called Fallbrook, California, or the avocado capital of the world. And so I drove over and I said, okay, give me the paperwork. And I filled it out. Lesson number 1, don't try to talk them in or out or explain more. They're just ready to do it. So I did. And I said, do I need to order some products? She says, oh, just a little bit every 3 months. And I thought, well, how do you make the money? But I always followed instructions. So I said, okay. I went back home and she had the presence to call her director who lived in San Francisco. And she said, oh, well, what about your product that you'll be starting your business with? And I said, that's what we did in Mary Kay. Here we do personal consumption. And she said, well, it'd be X amount of dollars. And I went, oh gosh, I don't know. And then I thought, well, okay, if I'm in, I'm going in for everything. And so it's like buying a Founders, I guess, So I said to my friend, by the way, before I left, I said, could I try this product? And she said, oh, yes, in a week. And so a week later, I went back and she stood me up. And so I came back, put my own product on, and then I started my career. I never saw her again. She never trained me. I said, where did we get trained? She said, look in the yellow pages. I said, okay. So I found a director in San Diego. And so I taught school every day. And then I would go out and do appointments during the evening. And then on Saturdays, I'd drive by myself, but I got the picture. And then I came back and I told my little tiny town that had no hotels. I said, we are going to be the number one here. We are going to build in this community. And I rented a little red schoolhouse, and there was like 5 or 6 people. And then pretty soon the community started coming in from all sorts. And then it was 100 people. And then we started building leaders. And I got really excited. And I really just followed instructions and of what they told me to do. And then all of a sudden, I built 7 leaders, which I think you would probably say was on the 4-star level, about that level. I had 7 that first year, and I was excited. Man, I'm going to be a national sales director 1 year from now. This is it. This is a piece of cake. But some didn't quite want to stay. Some didn't want, they had other priorities. And suddenly they were dripping off. And then about that time, we were making a move to Houston, Texas. And I arrived and I went, wow, is this still for me? I don't know. And you will feel this in the industry. You'll have wall kicking moments. You'll have self-doubt. I don't know. The people, sometimes you want it more for people than you want it for yourself.
That's right.
And so I thought, you know what? And when I moved to Houston, there were 60 directors there. And there had been an oil crash. Everybody moved out of Houston. But I saw opportunity. I said, boy, they all need a career. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have any social media. So what I did is I just started going to Starbucks. We didn't really have cell phones, they had those big cell phones. I went out every day and said, I'm going to talk to 10 new people. I'm going to meet 10 new people. That's what I'm going to do. And then I started casting the vision. I kept saying, we're going to be the number one in Houston. And I had 2 people. And then I had 3 people. And then I had 4 people. And then, you know what I did? Because we didn't have computers, I sent a newsletter out to my people in California. And I printed out on the front, I said, it was my newsletter. And I put, welcome new consultants. And then I put in the center, I said, where they were from. And I said, and the person that cared. And down the side, I put their names. It was all Houston, 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 Houston. And the person that cared was Christine Petersen, Christine Petersen, Christine Petersen, Christine Petersen, Christine Petersen, showing I was going on with or without them. No one was going to stop my dream. And this is really important because people are going to try to sabotage you. And then the people would call back and say, wow, you're going on. I said, yeah, I see it. And 2 years later, we became a national area.
Wow.
And we had the biggest area there. And then I moved on. I solidified my people. I got my executives in order. I built national sales directors like myself under and in Mexico. I used to ride the buses in Mexico and the Futura buses.
Wow.
All the cities, sleeping on cots with mosquitoes. And, I couldn't speak the language, but, everybody loves everybody in this world, really, and so we just built there. We built the number one national there. And then I moved to Chicago, built in Dallas, Chicago, because you know what? Acorns cannot grow under an oak tree.
That's right.
So I moved, solidified those leaders, and then moved there, then moved to Atlanta and then Miami, and ended up, I had a great career.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Christine, it's interesting times and the times that you were building compared to times that we're in now, right?
Yeah.
With technology, with cell phone and all that. You and I had a little brief conversation before the call here today, and I love what you said, the 3 types of people that you're building. So maybe you could share with the audience about what the three types of people that are building. And I think that pretty much in my opinion, when I listened to that, you were sharing with that a little earlier, I go, wow, the audience really need to hear that, because that journey from how you started, part-time as a school teacher, and then, just starting in a new town and, unknown, but putting that flag on the map. So maybe you could share with the audience about the 3 types of people that are building. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I realized that, I really needed to build leaders, but we do have 3 types of people in our industry. And there's no right or wrong, but it's
Hmm.
just what you want to, where you want to be.
Hmm.
But we'll have people even in 3 that are product users. They'll build family, friends. They'll have a little group, and they're just wonderful, and they're the bedrock. And we want lots of those people, and
Absolutely.
they're happy there. That's all they want to be. They just want to be product users and share with their family and their friends. And then you're going to have a separate group of people who are now going to 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. They're building big organizations. They're building volume into the tree. I mean, they are really moving it. But the third type is people builders.
Hmm.
They're the people that build the leaders. And to create great wealth, you need to have leaders. The greatest leader of all is the one that builds the most leaders. And I'm going to give you an example. When I was in Mary Kay, for years, I wasn't always the queen on the throne of being the one that sold the most product. My area wasn't always the one that had the biggest volume, but I was always in the top 10 as a director before I got to national.
Hmm.
But I was building leaders.
Hmm.
I knew long term that building leaders was the key. And I didn't care to sit on that throne.
Hmm.
I didn't care one bit. The rank wasn't a big deal to me. I was focused on my people, helping them get to where they want to go. And
Yep.
at the end of the day, I passed them all up. I built more leaders. And I remember directors and even nationals later on would say, you never talked about being as a top director or being on the throne. I said, no, my goal was always to be national and to be an elite executive national.
Hmm.
That means that I had 5 or more nationals underneath me. Actually, I ended up having about 16
Wow.
nationals in my area, but I focused on those people, and the
Awesome.
volume came. The
Yep.
volume comes with the leaders, because if you think about it, you get one great go-getter.
Hmm.
One
Hmm.
great go-getter can bring in 1,000 people or more. And then it's an attraction principle. We attract who we are. And
Hmm.
so I'm right now in 3.
Hmm.
I'm focused on finding 10 great people.
So now, before we talk about 3, I really want to talk about this. I think Christine, it's interesting. It doesn't matter what company we're with,
Right.
in the space we're in. It's all about building up people. It's
Yes.
but obviously the product is just a tool, right? The
Yes.
product is just a
Yes.
tool. The company is a platform, but when we are in the business of building up people, because when you help, I think Zig Ziglar has said this. When you help enough people to get what they want, then we will get what we want. And so
Exactly.
and it is exactly like what you said. It's about building up people. And I love it. Maybe we can recap a little bit. There are people that are coming in here, they build products. They love products, they share
Right.
products, right? And they're the second type of people, they are here to build what? Volumes.
Yes. They
Mhm.
build volume. They're
They build
focused on
volume.
volume.
They
Mhm.
focus on volume, meaning they
Right.
they chase transaction, they chase
Right.
volume. And
Right.
the third type of people, I mean, when you told me this afternoon, I'm like, Christine nailed it in his head. The third type of people, how you build wealth in this space is you build up leaders, you build
Yes.
up people.
Yes.
That is fascinating. Okay, so now I want to talk about, so you were with Mary Kay for 27 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
so why you leave Mary Kay after 27 years?
Well, I didn't want to leave. I loved it. It was a great company. It is a great company. But when you get to the national level, it is mandatory you retire at 65. And then they give you a family security plan. Basically, they're buying your business out. And
Hmm.
so they said, it's time for you to retire. So
Hmm.
then they started paying me out for 15 years.
Wow.
And so there I was, sitting on my island in Miami going, "Ooh, now what? I don't want to retire and die. I have too much to do. I have to have purpose. I'm not a pampered poodle. I mean, I have to have, I have to help people."
Right.
And
So Christina, I want to ask this question because it's fascinating. Now, you and I talked, and I asked you if it's okay to share your age, and you said okay. So would you share with the audience how old you are, Christine?
I'm 81 years old.
My goodness, Christine. When I grow up, I want to be like you. Look at you. You know, when we were doing a little sound check and a light check, I mean, like I said, oh my God, I need to put some blush on my face. You look fabulous. So, okay, Christine, now at 81 years old, I mean, you have incredible success. And even with the retirement plan that they paid you, I mean, it's remarkable. Most people work a job, of 30 years or 50 years. They don't get that kind of retirement plan. You have that. So my question to you is, Christine, why at age 81, why you choose three? Why three?
Well, honestly, well, first of all, I have to have passion. I've worked since I've been 14. You
Mm,
know, my first job was scrubbing pans at a bakery. And I worked up and went, the rest of my career. But I remember Warren Buffett saying, never retire. Look at Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. He says, you don't want to retire and die. You just got to have purpose, get up. And you see many, many successful people that have this attitude. I just didn't want to retire. But
mm,
I'll tell you honestly, um, I moved out here to Aspen because my daughter said, Mom, you need to get off the East Coast and, you tell them what to do in the first part of your life, and then they tell you what to do. So I moved out here just outside of Aspen in the
mm,
Roaring Fork Valley, Glenwood Springs. And I was sitting here looking out at Mount Sopras, and much like your background in Sonoma, the red hills, the pine trees. And I'm going like, I don't, what is this? I have too much more to give. I want to live to over 100, and I've got to have purpose. Now, of course, all my neighbors that I've met in my community are going like, what can't you join? I said, well, no, I'm building a business. I don't have time to play cards. What do you mean you're building a business? I said, no, I have a purpose. I have people I have to help.
mm,
So with that being said, I have companies all the time.
mm,
I say it humbly,
mm,
trying to recruit me.
mm,
I mean, every other week, these companies will come by and say, oh, we want you to join our company. We'll even do this for you. We'll do
mm,
that. And I'm
mm.
going, no, no, no. I
So
don't jump around.
in three? What did you see in three? What
All
was
right.
in three? They say,
Well, all right.
yes.
I'll tell you that. And that's a good question. I said, if I ever came out to do a third company, I don't jump. It would be number one, it would be a new company, because that's where great things happen. Great blessings, great
Magic.
things can happen. Yes, exactly. I
Mm.
never was able to be part of a new company. I
That's
was,
right, because you told me when you joined Mary Kay, Mary Kay was already 19 years old.
yes, it was almost 20 years old. It was 19 years old.
And you
And
still rank up to the top. There's a
yes,
story to that later on.
yeah.
Okay, continue. I'm sorry. Uh-huh.
And so I thought, but I said, you have to be careful with a new company. Sometimes people don't really they don't have the experience, they don't
Mm,
have the vision. And then
mm,
when um, I would want a company that was well funded.
mhm,
I don't want to be out of business in 2 years.
mhm, mhm,
That would be number one. And someone has a grand vision to build globally in the global e-commerce universe. Secondly, I said, what would the product be?
mm,
I said, I want to be in the supplement industry, because in 2020, the supplement industry was about $60 billion. But in 4 more years, it's going to be about $128 billion. And so you want to be in a company that has a supply and demand. I wouldn't want to be in the business of selling Gucci handbags every 5 years. I want something that I'm going to consume and people are going to reorder every month. And there is a need for that. But
mm,
as you know, there are the dirty little secret is a lot of our supplements come from 2 to 3 big manufacturing companies,
mhm,
and people go there and do white label, private label. And I said, I don't want to be part of that. They're all the same. It has to be unique and different. That would be my dream. And
mhm,
third, I said compensation,
mm, mm,
because um, I loved what I did in Mary Kay, but it was a different compensation. It was a different compensation.
I admire you how you did it with that compensation until you see three, right?
Yeah, I mean, really, it was amazing.
Hmm.
And so as I sat there, and people were, and I'd say, no, no, no. Amy Dunlap reached out to me, and you know the story of the Black Crows. In fact, the Black Crows were around, must have been giving me good energy this evening. Uh, the Black Crows were flying around my house, and I couldn't figure out what in the world. They were on my deck, they were on my rooftop, and I was, what in the world are they doing? And Amy called me,
Wow.
and um, she says, would you be open to hearing about it? And of course, she had known I had built in Asia too. And she is saying, I need some advice for Asia. And I'm going, okay, Amy. All right. I kind of knew she was trying to recruit me in something. I don't know what she was doing, but, and then she said, there's this new company. I think you'd just be great. Would you be open? I said, okay, Amy, I'll listen.
Hmm.
So can you believe this? I said, if you fly out and see me at my house, the nerve of me. And so she says, yes, I'll fly out. So she came out and she was sitting at my dining room table, and George Ruiz came in. She brought George Ruiz in, and she was sitting at the table, and she said, I'll never forget this. She said, of course, I really thought I was going to do it after I heard, but I didn't want to reveal that I was keeping my cards close to my vest, you know. And she said, I just don't want you to think I was a Looney Tune. But, I was walking down St. Louis, and these black crows started flying all around me and almost attacking me. And there was no trees. And I went to my spiritual advisor and I said, is that a bad sign? And she said, no, that means there's new beginnings, new enlightenments that are going to be happening.
Mhm.
And she said, I thought of you. And I picked up the phone and I said, really? When did that happen? Tell me about the black crows. And
Mm.
then I told her about my black crows, and it was the same week. Now I
Mm.
know that sounds like woo, 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 but we always felt like the black crows had connected us. And
Wow.
yeah, and
Got it.
so and I did talk to Daniel.
Mhm.
I wanted to check him out.
Mhm.
And I liked him. I loved his vision, his passion, and
Mm.
his experience. And I felt really solid with him. And I really think he's an amazing leader. And
Mm.
and he's driven. I like
Mm.
that. He's
Yeah.
passionate. He's driven. And I do believe in his vision. And I
Mm.
thought I want to be part of this. I want to be
Mm.
part of something great where I can build a whole set of new leaders.
Absolutely. That's exciting. I mean, thank you. By the way, I live in Sedona. So right here in this house, I always see black crows flying around. And sometimes you will see the black crow that will land. And at the end of the call, I'm going to go out to my balcony so you can see. There's actually black crows that will sit there on the fence. Because right behind is a national forest. So we're gonna show you. But anyway,
Oh,
so so now, Christine, now you know what? Because of time, let's do this. After spending 42 years in this space,
mhm.
let's take, what? Like, let's just, we have a lot of professionals who has never been involved in this space
Yeah.
before, but because something is so different, like what you said in three, they just sense something different about this company, something unique
Yes.
about this company. So they became a part of it. So maybe through your 42 years of experience, maybe you could share with our audience, like you take someone brand new when they come in, what are some of the things, like what are the top three things that they should expect in this journey? Number one, okay, so number one, what should they expect in this journey? And then number two, we're going to talk about your recommendation. What are the activities to focus on? So, okay, Christine.
Okay. Well, first of all, you need to talk to everyone and never prejudge at all.
Mm.
And, you'll be excited. There's about a 30, 60 days, you get revved up, you're excited about the new vision and everything. And about 60 days later, you kind of like, wait a minute, some people said no. Oh, and then you start to self-doubt yourself and you kind of go like, maybe this isn't for me, but it is. You
Mm.
just haven't talked to enough people. And it's just part of the journey.
Yep.
And you just have to keep going through it because I never worry about who says no. I worry about who I miss
Mm.
because there's somebody right around the corner. And I always ask for referrals. I teach my people, who do you know
Mm.
that, that wants to be part of our mission, our
Mm.
our enlightenment. But you know what I love is that you have a chance in our industry to build your own business and your own wealth. And you can't do that in corporate America. For you all that are new on this, I think we've been trained since childhood, go to school, get a good job, go get a job and work hard, trade time for money. And, that's the true pyramid, really. If you think about
That's
it.
a legal
Yeah.
pyramid, right?
Yeah. I mean, that is like one chairman of the board, one CEO, one president, a few vice presidents, and a few managers. And then there's
And the
all
masses.
these hundreds of people in the cubicles going every day, so loyal, trading time for money, and never can get ahead. And the top people make the big bonuses. They drive off in their second homes. They have their Mercedes. They have their Rolls Royces. They go on the trips. And you're just thinking, what happened here? And it's and that's just the way it is out there in any corporation. So that's what I love about it. It doesn't matter the background here. You could be, you don't even have to have a high school diploma. It doesn't matter your race, your background. You could be a highly educated. Anybody can come in here. And I, as a kindergarten school teacher, didn't know anything, but it was like a burning desire. So what I did and what I still do today, I look for people like myself. I am looking for go-getters. I'm looking for people that have energy, people that have influence. And I'm not just talking about an influencer that's on the YouTube. I'm looking for someone that walks into a party and everybody gathers around them. I'm looking
Personal power.
yes. And I see people, it could be the lady at the church who organizes all the events. She knows all those people. And everybody go to her. And I'm looking for people that have the influence, because if I can capture them, and I work with the new and the few. It's the 80-20 Pareto principle. 20% of all your work will come from the top 20%. Now, I love all my people. I love my people. I'm always here for them. They're my number one. I get up in the morning at 6. I'm dressed at 7. I'm on the Zoom with my people doing my person power to get them going. Then we get them on Amy's event. But every morning I get up, because you see, I think a leader has to be inconvenienced. And then I'm up late at night, because
I know you are. We talk some late night.
Yes, I'm up late at night, but my people depend on me. I have to show up. I'm in the show business.
That's right.
I do Zoom calls every night from Sunday to Friday night and Sunday. I take Saturday night off. And I'm doing a Zoom call. My people can count on me, because I'm building them up, and I'm working with those few and those new people to get them off to a great start, because I need to know that they're going to be introducing, talking to their 2 people, making their list of people. And I want to get in there and help them. And I'm doing the heavy lifting. Does that make sense? I'm here. They can count on me. But with that being said, too, as you start to go along and build a business, you're gonna be frustrated, and even me, and I know, Kim, you've experienced that, because you're an icon. I mean, you're just you're an icon. That was one of the reasons I didn't tell you. I checked out, who is this woman? I said, oh, okay, I can partner up with her. I get her vision, because that's who I am too. I mean, I'm not on your level, but I mean, I get the vision. I get the vision, and I want to be part. Like-minded people find each other. It's an attraction principle. It's like, even if you put down like from 10, 9, 8, 7, all the way down to 1, I'm looking for the 8, 9s, and 10s.
That's right.
Because 8, 9s, and 10s can attract and enroll anybody down below. But 1, 2s, and 3s can never enroll 8, 9s, and 10s.
Yeah, we have the saying, recruit up, right? So recruit someone that's better than yourself.
Yes. Always level up, because it makes it easier, because those people at the top are more go-getters. They're entrepreneurs. They've risen up. Like if I were going to a restaurant, I wouldn't be talking to the dishwasher. I would be talking to the manager. Even when I go, I believe I've got so much to say, build locally and build globally. Because, I may go to a Chinese restaurant every week, or a Vietnamese restaurant, and I get them build that relationship. And then
Yes.
I'll say to them, "Oh, you did such an amazing job.
Mhm,
I just
mhm.
love your restaurant. You organize it such, they must pay you a lot of
Mhm.
money."
And they would
They
say,
go,
not really.
right. And they go, "Well, not really." And I go, "Really? Well,
Mm,
I bet you'd be great doing what we're doing. Here,
mm,
let me get your name and number. I'd love to get back to you." "Well, what is it?" "Oh, well, I'll tell you, you're busy. I don't go into blah, 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 blah. I've got this amazing products, blah, 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 blah." I said, "I'll call you tomorrow." And so
That's right.
I just love talking to people, but I'm looking for this group of people up here because
Mm,
they have more energy, they're driven, and they attract other people like
mm.
themselves.
That's right. That's awesome. So, Christine, I mean, like, just to kind of sum it up, now, so the journey that people should expect. I mean, we all gone through
Oh
the
yeah. Oh
honeymoon
yeah.
stage, right? So when we first got started in the industry, it's all exciting. We saw hope. We
Yes,
were all
yes, yes, yes,
activated.
yes,
Then when we start working it and working it, and what happens then when we get rejection, right? Like,
yes.
what? We you said no to me, and all this stuff, one after another. One might be the first one. They go, you know what? I think I got this. The second one, the third one, and the fourth one. It's like a relationship. The
Yeah,
honeymoon stage is over. And a
yeah,
lot of times it's that time that when people quit. And I
yeah.
love what you said, Christine. It's like you got to hold tight. And I remember I think we had talked this offline a little bit beforehand.
Mhm.
Is that you got to hold tight to your dream. What's your vision? What you
Yes,
want to
yeah,
build? Because we will enter that honeymoon stage. When that zizzle's gone, you got to work on the other part, which is your dream that will carry on. And so, and so
mhm,
I love what you share about the activity also, Christine, when you go out and talk to people, don't vomit and tell them everything about what this is.
yeah.
There's a time and space, to talk to your
Right,
prospect. Get their phone number or get in touch with them.
right.
Outside, when they're not working, then you go work with them. And the third part you share, Christine, is about building up people. You're always there for your people. And so,
Yeah.
well, you know what? The AI just gave me a thumbs up. So, so Christine, because of time, maybe you know what? Maybe some final words of wisdom for a lot of the new people here on the call here today. What would you say the top three things that they should focus on? If you were to say that there's three things that's so critical for them, for you yourself, in a household name company to get, after 19 years, that company's been around for 19 years, then you rank yourself up all the way to the top worldwide. So
Yeah.
what were the three things that you would share when people are embarking on this journey? What are the top three things that they should have, you think, to
Well,
achieve the
they need
successes
to,
and
they
realize their
need,
dreams?
yeah, they need to be making connections every day with new people. That is, I always teach my people to talk to 10 new people every day, making contacts, either through Facebook, Instagram, just building relationships, building, because numbers never let you down.
That's right.
And,
That's
and
right.
most people talk to one or two people, and then they go, and they say, nobody wants to do this. And I go, "Well, how many did you talk to?" "Well, three." "Well, no, we're just starting. We're
Yep.
just starting." And that is why the ones that keep on, we just talk to more people.
That's right. That's right. So number one is activities. You got to
Yes,
have activities every day. Like,
yes,
when you go build your business, you don't, like, if you were a fisherman, we talked about this before. If
yes,
you're a fisherman, you don't go, spread your nets 3 days out of a week and then 4 days you hang your nets. You don't do that. Everyday activities.
that's right.
Okay, perfect. And what about second thing, Christine?
Um, then when you bring them in, immediately get them started and get them into your perfect stars, your orientation, ground them and have them make lists for you of who they want to. Now we're going to do the duplication,
That's
you
right.
say. And then we're going to start working through their 10 people and duplicate. It's a simple business. It's duplication, but you can't just sign somebody up and say, "Okay, go get them." No, they need to be well trained.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And they need to know you are there for them. So I
Right.
immediately say, make your list of 100 people and let's
Mhm.
go down and get the top 10 people that you think are go-getters, influencers, and then we'll go and start with, and let's set up those appointments where I can do the Zooms with you. I'm your business partner.
Okay, part three.
and never give up. And this is where you're never give up. I could have said, remember I said in the beginning, I came out roaring my first year, and I was like, man, I'm going to be a national in another year. And I've got 7 directors and leaders in motion. And some are like, whoa. And then some gave up. I could have quit. Then I would have allowed them to decide on my destiny, and it would destroy my dream. I said, no way. I believe in this. And see, I'm really excited. See, I know we have just short amount of time, but all of you are so lucky to be right where you are. I built 2 huge organizations in Mary Kay in the same climate of right now. Our business is counter-cyclical. When people are out of work, people have high inflation, people are looking for careers. Don't you dare prejudge anyone. The person you least expect, it could be a woman that you think that her husband is the president of a company, but you don't know if he's just been laid off. Because with the AI coming, thousands of jobs are being laid off. You talk to everyone. And so I will say to them, if you're intimidated, they're kind of on your chicken list. I will always just say, I know you probably wouldn't be interested in this, but I'm building a new business in the health and wellness arena. I said, do you know of anyone that might be interested in joining our global e-commerce movement to build our $1 billion platform? I'm looking for leaders. Would you know of anybody that would be interested?
That's fabulous. So Christine, to sum it up, is 3 things. One is activity and daily activities, right?
Yes.
So, we got to set some goals every day, like for you, for myself. Like when I started it, I talked to at least 20 people a day until I find someone running, right? So minimum 10 people a day. But the key thing is, Christine, we have the saying, right? Don't make your minimum your maximum. A lot of times people make their minimum their maximum, right? So, and the second thing is to support your team. When your people coming on board, onboard them, right? Onboard them, show them, make a list and guide them through it. And number 3 thing, if I heard you correctly, is consistency. It's a pattern. You consistently support that. Just repeat and rinse, repeat and rinse. That's fabulous. And you know what? Because of time, Christine, I do want to take a moment to show you where the black crows always fly. Yes. So because, I think it's such a beautiful time of day here in Sedona. And I normally don't do this, but I want to show you guys this.
Isn't that gorgeous?
It's usually, you see that is like a footprint of black crow. So they usually, I would see every morning, black crow fly. You know what? I just saw something just flew by. But anyway, right here, you will see the black crow flying by. But
that is awesome.
Is that, people coming in here in this platform. I often tell this story, Christine. Look, I came to this country. My mom and dad took us 4 girls coming to the country. We were living in a 1-bedroom apartment with 6 people, and having a blessing in this space, in this industry, in this country, to have acquired the blessing that we have. And, Christine, and I think more power to you, Christine, for women, okay? For women out there, it's about empowerment. I thank you, Christine, for being a part of 3, for saying yes to Amy, and truly, this is what this platform is all about. And at Christine, at age 81, I tell you, when I grow up, I want to be just like you.
But we're just
beginning. With that, I want to say absolutely, we're just beginning, and I want to say thank you for joining us here tonight on the Empowerment Tuesday. And I can't wait for you to come here. And you know what? When I see a black crow flying by, I'll snap a picture and I send it over to you. So with that, Christine, thank you so much for being a part of this call and being a part of 3. And to all our entrepreneurs out there, you know what? If you have a dream, if you dare to dream, dare to work it. We are no different. And Christine was a school teacher. I was an accountant. And yet we were able to manifest and work hard towards our dream and with something that we're passionate about. So with that, thank you so much for coming on, Christine. And thank you everyone for tuning in on this Empowerment Tuesday. We'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you so much, Christine, again for being on the call here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Have a great day.